What is up, and welcome into the Easy Smoke and the GM podcast. I'm your host, Ezra McCann, and I'm joined as always by my outstanding co-host. He's a Chicago Public League legend, he's a Simeon Wolverine legend. He's a Grambling State legend. He played second base for the Tigers back in the day. He was all swag as Brandon Williams, a.k.a. Coach Smoke. And we've got the NFL draft analyst from NBC Sports Chicago. You can catch his work at NBCSportsChicago.com and the My Teams app. He's Glenn Morgan. He's our GM. Gentlemen, we got T-minus, 2 weeks to go before the NFL season here. How you guys doing?
Oh, so I thought you were talking about the Madden League. You know, you forgot to mention
I told you, man.
The commissioner of the Money Madden League.
We're on to the college football countdown here. EA Sports College Football. That's what we're on.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, it's exciting, man. For NFL, like I said before, man, I'm gonna say it every time, and until something happens this season to prove me wrong, I think it's gonna be one of the most dynamic NFL seasons in maybe two to three decades. Yes.
You think so? It's just up in the air.
Dude, every game is going to be like a playoff caliber team playing another playoff caliber team. And you, especially in the AFC, you just don't see that. And it's not, I'm sorry, I shouldn't say every week. It's going to be several games every week
right,
where you're seeing this, as opposed to, the game of the week. Like, oh yeah, okay, that should be a good one. It's going to be like, I mean, are you not going to want to watch Pittsburgh and the Ravens? Are you not going to watch Buffalo and Miami? You're not going to watch Buffalo and Pittsburgh. You're not going to watch the Chiefs and the Raiders and the Chargers and the Broncos and the
West
Chiefs.
West gonna be something.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, even the teams that were quote unquote, I shouldn't say quote unquote, they were really bad, but even they look at this point, and I know it's preseason, but they look interesting because the talent level is, and especially the talent level at the skill positions, is so high based upon what these players did in college that your expectations are, high, because you're expecting to see something similar to what you saw from the collegiate years. I'm talking about like Jacksonville, especially, and even the Jets. I mean, yeah, the quarterback being down for the Jets maybe is tempering that a little bit, but there's still so much talent everywhere else. And Jacksonville did not look bad the other night. I mean, their front seven looks very athletic, very active. They're going to cause a lot of problems.
How does the offense look?
Trevor Lawrence, and I'm not a Trevor Lawrence basher. I think sometimes I get annoyed that he gets overhyped a bit much.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, you really had a shitty season last year. You got the first pick again, right? And you played basically all the games last year. You're 3-14. So why are we talking about you like?
But he's got long flowing blonde locks, though.
Yes, he does.
That helps.
But he made some passes the other night where it was like, okay, yeah, that's a special pass. He actually made one pass, and the defender, it was right over the defender fronting the receiver, and right behind or right in front of like a safety. And the defender, the cornerback, DB, had jumped up, and he jumped, and it still just like went over his fingertips right into the receiver's hands. And then you see Lawrence coming back, waving his finger like, yeah, no, you're not going to. I'm like, okay, that's some swag right there. I'm like, okay, I got to give it to you. You can, it's preseason, but you'd be like, yeah, no, dog. Like, I saw you, and I'm not going to let you, you're not going to get me. He was throwing more confidently than what he did last year, what I could tell. There's a lot more, assuredness with himself out on the field. I tell you who looked really nice, because we didn't see him at all last year because he was injured, was Travis Etienne. He was doing a really good job, and you look at him, he's not a thick running back, so he has a bit of a slight build. He looks like, like Kamara, the type of guy that you expect to be doing more damage on the perimeter and catching the ball at the backfield. He was running really well inside and getting off, tackles and breaking through some tackles and spinning and moving forward and making the cuts inside. I'm like, he looks healthy. So yeah, man. And the receivers, I mean, they all look like at any point, maybe not, in September, but by like October, November, you can tell like, yeah, these guys will be effective. Marvin Jones Jr. and Christian Kirk, and these guys were really running nice, precise routes, getting that separation, being open. it's like if Jacksonville in the NFC, I'd be like, yeah, they can have a shot to make the playoffs. If it was last year and they play
Well,
like
I was
this,
going to say, you think the Jacksonville Jaguars are going to be the AFC South champions from how
the
you're
way I'm
talking?
talking, yeah, I know, right? If it weren't for the Colts, I think they got a shot. I mean, look, if
Man, you think they just gonna jump Tennessee? Tennessee taking the massive drop like that?
Tennessee concerns me with the quarterback position because it ain't Malik Willis, not yet. It just isn't. He runs too much. He goes to that aspect too much right now, and then his passes. He's got the arm talent, but it's not like I said. How I said that Lawrence looks assured. It looks like there's a confidence there. You can tell that Malik is still thinking through things. He's just not there just yet, and that's fine. He's a rookie. I don't expect him to be there, but the fact that they're still talking like, well, I don't know. He's looking like I'm like if you're even thinking that he's looking like he's going to take Tannehill's spot, then that doesn't say a lot about Tannehill right now. They've got some receiver issues, dude. They got to get on board. I mean, Robert Woods is a nice receiver, and that's cool. They got him. Losing AJ Brown is big, and then also losing Julio on top of that. You go into a rookie and Treylon Burks and then Robert Woods, and then a whole bunch of other guys. Derrick Henry, that he's a straw that stirs the drink there, and their defense looks good. Tennessee's defense looks good. But it's not like if you told me that Jacksonville beat Tennessee in Jacksonville, I wouldn't be shocked. They've got Jacksonville has that kind of talent, and their defense is really active and athletic. And I think, look, man, the Bengals were what, 3-13 the year before or 4-12 the year before last, and then they went to the Super Bowl last year.
Yeah, again, worst the first happens.
Yeah. So, but we digress. I digress, and you guys allowed me to do that.
Well, no. I mean, you're all in on the Jacksonville Jaguars. You're the only guy out there that's talking Jacksonville Jaguars football. So yeah, go ahead. Why not?
Him and Nick Wright.
But dude, I'm telling you, dude, that AFC, man, is so many teams look really good. It's going to, I mean, the fact that no one's talking about the Patriots and they actually made the playoffs last year, and the Dolphins defense. I mean,
I feel like the Patriots are going to be a mess this year.
They should be
just based on just how their how the coaching staff is structured, and yeah, it's just I think Bill Belichick is thinking he's smarter than he really is at this point, and that's going to hurt him.
He's cheaper than going to get offensive coordinator.
You got career defensive coaches running your offense, and that don't make sense.
I get you.
That don't make sense at all.
But there's enough of a veteran team that they can still win some games. They'll cause problems.
We'll see. I don't think they're going to be able to pass the ball 3 times in a game this year and win.
Not at all.
I can't see that happening again. But the Bears, I guess we start off. Roquan Smith ended his hold in. He's pulling a Rod Tidwell. If you saw the movie Jerry Maguire, he is going to play out his contract with 1 year remaining. It's a risk. It's a huge risk. I don't know. Now we talked. We talked about the negotiations last week, and I was one that said that it made the Bears and Ryan Poles look a little weak. They won this round. It looks like now this is it's a marathon, not a sprint.
Not a sprint,
and what's another cliche? It's a 12-round fight. He won the battle, maybe not the war. This could come back to hurt the Bears too. When Roquan has a great season and takes off I guess they technically could franchise him after.
Well, you heard his press conference, right? Roquan's press conference.
No, I didn't.
Oh, it's a good listen. It really is, because he said some stuff. I was like, oh, okay, you really are pissed, and you don't care that you're sounding pissed. And okay, all right, so we got that cleared out. The way he's unhappy, and but he, as far as the franchise thing you're talking about, Roquan was like, hey, franchise, that's good money. So he'd be a franchise. I mean, he's automatically top 3 position.
Yeah, you're top, but it's only for 1 year. So if you mess around and get hurt, that's
true.
That's what you get.
But I mean, we've seen guys play in the NFL for 2 years and then retire. So and they would not have made what he made.
True that
as a franchise.
True that, but I mean, player. The goal is to get that long-term bag.
No doubt, but we've seen somebody play that game and is the richest, has had the most money to this point of any quarterback in the history of the NFL. That's Kirk Cousins.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
He got franchised twice and then turned around and got $88 million guaranteed. So now, of course, once these other guys, the Mahomes and the Watson's money start kicking in and all that stuff is a little bit different. But like, as of right now, as far as in his pocket, what he's got, he did that. And I know quarterback position is different than middle linebacker, inside linebacker, or just a linebacker in general. But again, Roquan's not the only person taking a risk. Lamar Jackson's doing the same thing, although he's under contract, but he's at the end of this. They're both on that
end of that.
Mm-hmm.
The
they both
deal.
came in the same year, so same contract. So
right.
they both are representing themselves. What do you guys think about that? Do you think
I understand maybe not having an agent, for the first contract, rookie contract, because everything is pretty much slotted, in the draft. So as you're talking about minor language issues that you have to go through that first time around. But the second contract, I think you need an agent just to, help those negotiations, go forward without getting personal.
Roquan definitely
makes sense.
Roquan, his responses were definitely those of I've been aggrieved personally by what happened.
Yeah. You can, an agent can go into a negotiation and the team can tell that agent exactly what they think of him, and the agent doesn't necessarily have to go back and
tell the player
everything that's been, what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what happened with Roquan this time. There's a lot also, when it comes to the financial terms, it's a little different the second time around. Now, Roquan, I guess he's saying, hey, look, I got the union behind me. I can save this 3%, and just have the union make sure my contract is right. But still, you got to have somebody negotiating for you. And I don't think it's smart to not have an agent, for this time around. But hey, to each his own. I can't, I'm not in that position. I wish I was, but 3% doesn't seem like,
that big of
a lot of yeah. I could see if it was 10, 20%, I'm like, all right, I get it, but 3% don't seem like it's worth that,
of what should be a bigger contract. Right.
Honestly, I don't know. I think now I've always was one that felt like a lot of times these agents are getting over. Like some of these guys can sell themselves, like a Rich Paul in the NBA. Like, come on, man. How much do LeBron really need you, Rich? How much do AD really need you? Like these guys, like I've always had that thought, like these guys are pretty much doing you a solid by keeping you rich. These guys gonna get that money if I was representing them, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? So that's how I thought. But then you look at this situation with Roquan, it's like, well, would the Bears be doing him quite like this if he had an
Right.
agent.
Right.
Like Ed said, like they might say some things to the agent that the agent might hold back from Roquan to prevent that kind of bad blood. So it's opening my eyes a little more the importance of an agent, per se, a little bit, but we'll see.
And it's, I mean,
Like even with him, even with his like his actions are like holding in, and it's been a weird situation to me. Like him and Eberflus seems like, you know, he loves him. Like they talk a lot. It seems like he say it. It's weird. It's like I've never seen nothing like this. Hold in. I've
never heard of that. And you know what though? But I think I appreciate it though, because I mean, at least he's around the team. He knows he's gonna be here. He ain't, you know, he knows he knew he was gonna be playing. So
he didn't sit out, right?
You stay right. You stay around the team. You know, you don't get fined. You know, but you're holding your ground and saying, "Hey, I you know, I want what I deserve." You know, and you know, it's business, and I think, you know, I think we're at a point now where the coaches understand that. You know, all the players understand what's going on. I think there was a time, you know, years ago,
right? The coaches would take it personal.
It would have been, they would have felt some resentment there. But no, I think we're in a different space here. But so I get that they, you know, you know, Eberflus, he's a defensive coach. He knows what Roquan can do for his defense, I'm sure. So, but yeah. I wish he could have, man, for Roquan's sake, I wish he could have got this deal done so he was taken care of. Because like I said, that's a risk, man. He mess around and get hurt here. That could be it.
Yeah, but that could still happen even with the new contract. And remember, the NFL, it ain't like baseball or basketball where everything is guaranteed.
But he would have had at least that signing bonus money. Well, and what he wanted was upwards of what, 50?
Right, 50, I think. Right,
50 million, you know, guaranteed.
Yeah,
that's something to look at there. So, so yeah,
they got it.
That's how this reminds me of Jerry Maguire. My man Rod Chipwell. But yeah. I don't know.
If you get a chance, you guys and anyone, for those of our listeners, check out Roquan's his press conference. Like right when he said, I'm in the hold in, and I'll be playing. He was salty with a smile. It was like, really? He was like, yeah, you know, somebody asked him a question. I'm paraphrasing, but he's like, yeah, I thought I did, you know, thought I did. But I mean, he said, like, busted my ass, but, you know, it's not appreciated. I was like, whoa, okay. I didn't point the finger much.
Like, that's what, yeah.
It was like really
like taking it personal, man.
Yes, you could tell that it was he was in his feelings about it.
That kind of weird though. I think that's another instance where that agent comes into play, because, you know, this coach and GM didn't have you,
right?
You know, and I get it. You know, you think the ownership.
That's what he tried to appeal to too.
You know, yeah, you know, but this coach and GM probably looking at it like, I don't care what you did. This team wasn't shit. Right. Like, you know, and that's where that agent is important right now, man, because it ain't like you did all this and it translated to wins, you know. So that's the thing.
You don't think a Drew Rosenhaus could get this deal done?
Maybe somebody a little less sleazy.
Drew would have got this deal done.
A little less swarmy.
Drew would have got it done.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I can't think of any high-powered agents anymore that are out there.
Yeah, I don't know who they are. they're like sports agencies now. It seems like, you don't seem like have like the individual guy who's his own entrepreneurial,
You don't see the Tom Condon and
right.
who was the guy? He had all the
Lee Steinberg.
Right. Lee Steinberg. Yeah.
Lee Steinberg,
yeah. But yeah, we'll see, man. We'll see what happens with that. Since we last talked, the Bears have played 2 preseason games.
2-0, baby. 2-0.
I was ready to start talking Super Bowl after Seattle game, man. I was ready.
Seattle's so bad.
I was ready for it. Geno Smith. Ooh, that's trouble, man. That's trouble.
You know what that is? That's Jeff Galooly taking it to Nancy Carrington's knee.
Why? Why? Accuracy issues there, man.
You don't think he'll be better when Lockett and DK?
Dude, Locke is going to be who, to me, he's always been. When he's at Missouri, he will have moments.
No, not Drew. Not.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Drew Lock. I'm saying
Lockett.
Oh,
Lockett.
Like Pop Lockett.
Yeah. Lockett and DK.
I see him. You know what he is?
You got to be able to get the ball to him.
Right. He's a poor man's Jameis Winston.
Who is that?
Geno.
He's about Drew Lock?
No, Geno.
He's saying Geno.
Geno is?
He's a poor man's Jameis Winston. Jameis went 30 for 30. This dude would be like 20 for 30. If allowed. Geno is good for a quarter or two. You don't bring him in for for 2 or 3 weeks.
So that said, I think the one thing I took out of both games, the Kansas City game and the Seattle game, is that the team looks competent.
That the Bears can hang with Super Bowl caliber teams.
Yeah. I took that from it. Second, watching the second and third teamers, they seem to have some depth at some positions, especially on the defensive side of the ball, where they may not have the high end superstars, outside of Roquan, but they got some guys that can play in this league. So that was what I took out of the 2 wins so far in the preseason. And it's preseason. I get that you can't always, take much from those preseason games. I think back to what was it, 2005, the Bears went 1-3. 2001, they went 1-3 in the preseason, and ended up winning 13 games. So you can't take much from preseason, but
not the wins and losses, no. But I think,
but just from what you saw from individual guys, I feel confident.
Yeah, I'll say I took what GM said last time we talked, as far as what he wanted to see, as far as some drives that weren't just 3 and outs, specific plays on offense, screens, stuff like that. And I saw that. Mm-hmm. I saw the tight end screen to commit against Seattle, the bootleg to commit against Seattle, sustained drives that it wasn't just a 3 and out, got a couple first downs, and I was pleased with that. It was like, okay, offensive line still is a factor, but that look like they're going to call some plays to kind of.
I wasn't too mad at the
to help that.
Line. I heard
I wasn't either.
I heard Colin Cowherd on Friday talking about how Justin Fields was running for his life the entire, every time he was out there, and I was like, yeah, but
passing the ball.
Yeah, but I mean, you had Tevin Jenkins at right guard for the first time. That's going to be an adjustment, and I thought he, outside of the one time he got bull rushed pretty bad. Outside of that, he he looked all right. You have Mustafa, who's not going to be your starting center week 1, hopefully, out there. I thought the kid that's out at left tackle, the rookie, looked all right. So, I think that's going to fix itself here in time in the next 2 weeks and beyond. That they're going to be forming. I'm not saying they're going to be the 90s Cowboys offensive line by any stretch, but they're going to be all right, I think, personally. I hope. I hope. I thought Fields, looked good. Like I say, he was able to get the ball to Komet a couple times. The Kansas City game, he had the dime to what's the receiver?
He's got the one where it's almost like a square out.
Yeah, 88.
Marcus.
One of Mooney too,
Sharp.
Right? Sharp.
Oh, Tajay Sharp.
Tajay Sharp.
Yeah, one of Mooney.
Yeah,
too,
one of
that
Mooney
game,
too.
right?
Yeah. So I think they look competent. They didn't, like I said, they didn't look like world beaters, but that's a start for a new regime here.
Right. So that's why I say you can tell some things from preseason games, not the wins and losses, but you can tell that this team looks competent as opposed to the previous regime where there's a lot of,
questions,
inconsistencies. We'll say that. Inconsistent play, inconsistent execution. And I think that's what we're seeing here. This team is executing more cleanly than the previous regime. And with that, you're getting better a flow with the offense, and you're getting a bit more consistency and continuity, and the confidence is building. These guys aren't sitting out there overthinking, questioning themselves, and listen to other people question things. And that it's not a lot of it doesn't seem like there's a lot of noise. This offense seems less noisy. Their execution seems less noisy. It seems like, okay, yes, there's some conventionality to what they're doing, but it looks like, okay, so Justin, he's rolling to his left. He doesn't just throw off balance. He sets his, he flips his hips, his feet, and throws a pass. But we know that he can throw off balance because he is he does a good job of a lot of quarterbacks I see roll to the left. They look uncomfortable trying to throw as they roll into the left. It seems very natural to him. Like some people have like a natural backhand. They couldn't explain to you how they have that natural backhand. I think Justin's always been able to just be that dude who can roll to his left and throw. I mean, we've seen him do it, when he was right before he was drafted doing this pro day, but we also have footage of him doing it live in the game against a pretty talented defense when he was at Ohio State for a touchdown. So it's like, you see things being done towards the betterment of his skill set, which improves his confidence. Like Justin looks comfortable out there. Even when he's running for his life, he's knowing where the pressure's coming from. Last year, he didn't know where that was coming from. There are times like I saw this one guy doing a kind of an assessment and said, why in the hell? Like, yeah, okay, they did a roll out for Justin, but why would you roll him out to TJ Watt's side and don't have anybody to block TJ Watt? Why would you do that to him? He was setting him up for destruction, not failure. You set him up for destruction when you do that. Like the man had 22 and a half sacks. That was probably two of the easier ones he had that entire year. You know what I'm saying? So there are things that Justin looks like, okay, I know where the pressure's coming from. I know it's coming from here, and I can dip this way. I can dip that way. I'm not, like running in circles trying to figure out where to go, or I'm running in a direction and I know that I didn't know pressure was there. And I just ran into a sack. That's a problem. Like last year, you look at a lot of his sacks. He ran into sacks. He was trying to get away, and he's moving backward. Just a lot of confusion and what have you. Here, we're not seeing that, at least to that degree. And it's early, and again, it's preseason. I get that, and the pressures will be different. But in fairness, I've seen him get pressured a lot more from scenes. I'm like, dude, like y'all bring out that kind of pressure on like the week 1 of preseason? Like, really? First play and we coming at him like that? Okay, so I think, like you said, as we're going to see something that will resemble a competent offense and a plan and an ability to execute and not cause your own problems. Like I don't recall seeing too many holding calls.
No.
Or false starts, really. You know what I'm saying? It's been pretty clean. Defensively, like I said last week, I'm not worried about these cats at all. And like I know you say you've seen some depth there. I think you're seeing guys that understand a scheme that's not too complicated and they're not worried about overthinking and they can just play ball. And when you can do that, you're not thinking, you can play fast, you can play confident. And, at that point, you can your activity and you can make things happen. You can be disruptive. You're not going to stop every play, but like you guys say, they're flying to the ball and then they're getting back to the huddle quick. I mean, they're playing with renewed sense of purpose.
What do you think about Tristan Ebner, running back?
I'm not pissed. I like his ability. He used him on kickoff and punt return. He was good at that in college. Show a little something. Him and Velus Jones back there. I feel like field position is going to be, in our favor. I trust him catching the ball off the backfield, and he runs tougher than I thought. I thought he'd be more.
That's where I was going to get at.
Yeah. So I'm like, okay.
I think it's something to be said of having a defensive head coach. Now you allow the offensive coordinator to do his job. You're not combative with the offensive head coach mind and the offensive coordinator who can't get on one page.
And the quarterback coach.
And all that stuff. Yeah. I think we will finally see an identity or a competent flow from the offense.
Yeah.
I think that's what I anticipate seeing. And I didn't realize, maybe it's just on the field, but I didn't. Velus
Jones, yeah.
Velus Jones,
yeah.
He's bigger than I thought.
Yeah, he's
not as small as I thought he was.
He's one of those slot receivers that looks like he could have been like a running back at a small college. Like a primary running back. Like he's a little thicker. Yeah, he'll run through some arm tackles.
Yeah, I definitely thought he was a smaller dude.
No, he's like a solid 6'1", like 205, something like that. 6 foot 205.
Yeah. Another observation I made, and you guys can tell me if I'm crazy with this. 1 through 3 at quarterback. This is the best we've seen in a while with Simeon and Peterman as your number 3.
I will say 1 through 2. You will never, ever in this lifetime, in my lifetime and yours, or in these children's lifetime or his kids' lifetime, ever get me to say that Nathan Peterman looks good.
As a 3?
Never, ever gonna happen.
As a 3, come on, think back to all the 3s we've had here.
In the words of what my kids used to say back about 10 years, bye boy.
Like man, come on, man. Think back to the Caleb Haney's and the
I'd rather
who was the last guy we had here? I can't think of his name now.
From USC.
No, he went from USC. No,
I'm trying to figure who you're talking about.
Who are you talking about?
The guy that's backing up in Buffalo now.
No, this dude out the league now.
Tyler Bray.
Tyler Bray, yes.
My Tennessee, yeah, another Tennessee fail. You know that's when Nathan Peterman started, right?
Where?
Tennessee.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he started at Tennessee and he lost the job to Joshua Dobbs.
See, that's why you have an issue with Peterman.
I have an issue because I know what he is. Dude, I root for the Tennessee guys. I don't root against them. But when you garbage, I'm gonna call you. I'm gonna say you stink.
David Fales.
Did he ever get a real opportunity?
He was still a 3.
Look, I would take Fales over
No, you
Peterman.
wouldn't. No, you wouldn't.
Yes, I would.
No, you wouldn't.
You know why Peterman,
that's nuts.
You know why Peterman looks good to you? Because
Why's
he
that?
looks like he should be a quarterback, but he's not very good. I'm sorry, dude.
I'm not saying he's a world beater. I'm saying that
I meant as a
competent
three.
number 3.
No, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Not gonna agree with you.
All right. The GM thinks I'm crazy, but all right. I'm just telling you what I saw.
There was a certain somebody back in the day that thought Nathan Peterman was the number 1 quarterback, and said, I remember even talking to Jim, Michigan State.
Jim Miller.
Thank you. I was talking to Jim Miller. He's like, "Oh, you think about Nathan Peterman, man?" I was like, "Nate, Jim, I saw him in Tennessee. I know he's at Pitt now. I know you have a warm heart for, the Pitt region and the Michigan region of quarterbacks and Ohio region where quarterbacks come and play. He's not very good. It's a lot of fun. Look, he let Joshua Dobbs beat him out. Sorry, bro. No.
That's in college, man.
Dude, ask Buffalo how they feel about Nathan Peterman, and they're going to laugh.
Well, yeah, he was bad as a starter. I get that, but as a 3, we hope that we won't see him.
Yeah, we don't need 3 quarterbacks.
You think they're not gonna cut him?
Get some young dude and put him on a practice squad. Don't keep this dude. Don't do it.
Right.
Don't do it. Telling you.
I think they're gonna keep him. They're gonna keep him.
Look, man, 1 Tennessee man per team. We got Bayless. Let Peterman.
No, he's a Pitt guy, man.
He's a Pitt guy now. Okay.
He's a Pitt guy. Yeah, it's where you ended, not where you started. Hey, let's move on to baseball. The White Sox started off the week looking good with 2 wins against the Astros.
Don't forget, coming off of a sweep of the Tigers.
It's the Tigers.
Well, no, but what I'm saying is their first 5-game winning streak. They hadn't had that all year.
I think Ozzie said, "Yeah, it was." Let's be real. It was the Tigers.
No, understood. But it's not like the Tigers haven't won game, and Tigers just gave somebody else problems right before they played us. I think it was Cleveland, wasn't it?
Cleveland, yeah.
So I mean, hey, a 5-game win streak, we haven't had that all year.
And then they had the first loss to Houston on Wednesday night. Okay, whatever, that happens. But then they got crushed 21-5.
Yeah, football game broke out,
and that
got the helmets.
Yeah. We weren't ready for that type of thrashing. And then you lose the opening game against Cleveland. I think they're now, they won Saturday. They're now 2.5 back. They got postponed on Sunday. But yes, man, there's a lot going on with this team. Your boy Eloy, what's up with him, man? He
I want to say soft, but boy,
that's not a high tolerance for pain. He takes a swing on Friday night, and Sox are in the game, and then takes himself out of the game. I guess he tweaked a hamstring. Okay, it happens, but then was in the lineup the next day. Come on, man, it couldn't have been that bad. Your team needs you. Take another cut, man. And it's just happened so many times, man. He's just constantly getting hurt. You
saying just put on like a knee sleeve or something, get back out there, some dirt in there.
Something, man. Come on,
dirty
now.
Spit, knee sleeve, go back out there.
I mean, man, if you're injured, okay, cool. But clearly he wasn't injured because he was ready to go the next day.
So he should have just called Brett Favre and gone to Walgreens or CVS and as seen on TV section and got some of them
got a copper what do you call those copper bands,
copper tone or whatever it is.
yeah maybe he should invest in that. I don't know, but that was disheartening to me.
No, what was disheartening, and I feel because I'm there's a warm spot in whatever hell or whatever religion you believe in that I'm probably going to reside in at some point. I still chuckle at Grandal. I know it's wrong. I know he hurt himself, but the way he was running those bases when he was trying to score from second yesterday, he tried to run around the tag. It hurt his knee.
Oh, shoot.
On the ground. It was clutching it and rolling. I'm like, what did you do? Like, how did you hurt yourself? I have never, in my X amount of years I've been on this earth, we don't need to get into that, but X amount of years, have I seen a baseball team in consecutive years get hurt just running in a straight line. I've just never seen it, man. Last year, was it Pantera? Roberts is running and pulls like it's growing off his bone or whatever it was. You know, it was just a horrible injury he had. And you saw like AJ Pollock this year early on pulled a hamstring running. We've seen Tim jump up in the air what he's done a gazillion times, throw the ball, pulled his nuts. These guys.
What? Yeah. What is with this team that they continue to have these types of injuries?
Makata
They
always got legs.
They got rid of Alan Thomas, and
that's what it is.
Apart.
That's what it is. You're not the first person to say that. I've heard that from somebody else that that's sort of close with the team. That has to be something.
I understand. Rondell's not fast. He's not generating any speed. How do you hurt yourself just running? I don't get it. He looked like Sylvester. He looked like Sylvester Stallone. He looked like Sylvester Stallone in is it the Replaceables or the Irreplaceables or whatever, that movie, running on a dock like that movie with a whole bunch of old retired men trying to be action heroes.
Oh God!
Yeah,
I thought the 18.
No. It was the Irreplaceables.
It was like this ensemble cast with all these old heroes.
Arnold Schwarzenegger, and Wesley Snipes and Sylvester Stallone. It just looked like old men running. He pulled something. Yeah. Like, who else got hurt? Come on, man.
I think the Alan Thomas thing is legit.
So if Elvis Andrus is the only person that doesn't get hurt this year, it's because he got traded by somebody else. That'd be the reason. Think about it. Even our part-time guys can't play long enough before they get hurt. Mendick's been gone all year because he got hurt like 2 weeks into like taking Tim's place. Right. He got hurt. How many times, dude? I've never. What's his name got hurt? The fast outfielder who usually plays right field, sometimes center, who's pretty good at catching the ball. Speed guy. They bring him to pinch run from time to time. Right-handed hitter. Angle. He's been hurt a couple of times already. Like, I don't think anyone has not been hurt.
You know what? That's what worries me. I feel like at the end of the season, that's going to be the excuse that they caught an injury bug and that Tony's going to stay another year.
God, dude. I mean, that was a problem. That was an excuse last year. Just the division was suckier, so it didn't matter as much.
But they're only 2.5 back. So they're in it.
I mean, if it wasn't for the pitching, man, the pitching has been the star this year.
Absolutely.
And Cueto
has come in, yeah.
I mean, come on, man. How many? Was it 11 quality starts in a row, or 9?
I don't know that he's had maybe one that was not a quality start
early on. Yeah, he's been like he's on a string right now. I don't know if it's 8, 9, 10, or 11, but he's on a string. Cease has been dealing. I mean, if Giolito was any good, we actually might be in first place or tied for first. Or I mean, not so much. I mean, in first place or with a lead, more of a lead. But dude, it's something's going wrong, dude. Where you can't run a straight line without these dudes getting hurt, or they running in the outfield getting hurt. Not hitting. It's not contact injuries, man. It's crazy. I've never seen that.
Yeah,
Never.
So with so many guys.
Yes, but like you said, they're still in it. If they can beat the Guardians, now they're 1.5, or maybe they lose a half a game because they didn't play today, and other teams did. But whatever it is, I mean, they're within shouting distance, and they have an entire month to make a difference. But it's not going to be easy. They got some competition this month.
Well, 2.5, and they got the Royals coming up, so that's a good thing.
Well, I don't know. We lost to them last time.
That's true. We did lose 3 or 4 of the Royals.
I don't know if it's a good thing.
You're right.
It should be. That's why I said that I don't sneeze at the Tigers. I'm like, hey, to get anything in a row has been weird this year. It's been like up and down. Other than we've had more consecutive losses in a row, or strings of losses in a row, than we've had strings of wins in a row.
So yeah, Kansas City on Monday I guess that's a makeup game, and then to Baltimore for 3 in Baltimore. That's going to be tough. The Olds are playing pretty good baseball right now, and then Arizona.
And Baltimore handled us when they played us before.
Yeah. So tough week coming up for the White Sox. Smoke, your Yankees are only up 8 games, man. You worried yet?
Yeah. Even though 8 games is still a lot.
It's 8
man, we've
games.
been bad, man. We've been very bad.
Dude,
very bad.
You're regressing to the mean a little bit. Regression to the mean.
Hopefully it's one of them things where, you get it out before postseason, but man, we up 8 games. So
up 8 games.
We got room to bullshit, basically.
Yeah, you gave yourself that. That's a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
You got a guy going for the MVP on your team.
He's slumping right now.
Yeah, we should all slump with 45+ home runs.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what this team needs right now, Smoke?
Captain.
They need the captain.
So number 1 Jeter fan. That is great segue, by the way, by Segway GM. What did you think about the documentary series, The Captain?
I mean, I loved it. It didn't catch me by surprise. It was nothing that happened in that documentary that had me like, oh damn, I didn't know Jeter was like that. Oh damn, I didn't know he thought like that. Like everything that happened is why I'm such a Jeter fan. One of the main things that stick with me, and I stand by this and I live by this as a player, coach, the whole what ifs. If we were this, if we were that, and what Jeter say, man, that's loser talk. Losers speak about the what ifs. And what I loved most was when he reminisced on 01 and 03. He like, and he like, man, and no doubt in my mind, we win in 01. We gave away 01 and we gave away 03. He like, but you know what? I sound like a loser. So I can't harp on that. And that's why I'm such a fan. Like, that's right. You sound like a loser no matter what. As a fan, yeah, I believe y'all gave those away. I believe y'all should have won those. But if you going off your own logic, that's loser talk. Ain't no what ifs in this game, man. Get it done or, go home. But I wasn't shocked. I had my debates with people, that, consistently try to say because he was the Yankee, it's the only reason his career turned out the way it did. And what came to light in this documentary to me was how when you win, everything is just so elevated. When you win at the level they won, people forget they hadn't won since the 70s up until that point. They hadn't won since the 70s. But since they started winning, it became, oh, look who he has around him. Well, if I'm not mistaken of that lineup, he's the only Hall of Famer, by the way. Granted, I'm taking nothing from those guys that played with him, but like those key guys, he's the only Hall of Famer. Like
True.
pitching was the shit for that over that over that time. It should be more Hall of Famers. We know why some of them not in it. We're not gonna speak on that. But you know, but
so is Mariano?
Man,
Mario's a Hall of Famer.
Well, Mariano's in it. He's in.
He said lineup
in.
though.
Oh, right.
I'm not speaking of the. I'm speaking of the lineup. I've had arguments with people who are saying because Jeter was in that lineup with so many guys that were so great, he was protected. So that's why he was so successful. I'm talking people who actually play the game of baseball. I'm like, if that's not the dumbest shit in the world, no pitcher is going up to Derek Jeter and saying, "Here you go, Jeter, hit the ball." Now, yeah, they're probably pitching to him. They're not pitching around him, but the mindset is still to get the guy out. Like, like, so I'm like, man, people just, hate is big when you're a winner.
Right.
When you win like you do, the hate comes. And so the guy he just did his job to the maximum of his ability. And he believed in winning first. Forget all that other stuff. And man, like I say, he proved to be what I've always thought him to be. I'm not surprised at anything I saw in that documentary.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, it's real quick. I was going to say, actually, I agree that him being a Yankee is a big reason why he had success, but I don't see that as a knock. It's like you had to embrace those moments. You still had to win in those moments. They didn't just happen because people didn't stop playing because they was the Yankees. As we saw that when they played the Diamondbacks. I mean, Diamondbacks, the Yankees had to fight back. I forgot the Diamondbacks were that close to winning. I'm like, oh, I thought it was like the Diamondbacks fighting back. I mean, they did because they what was it 3-0 or 2-0? Then they were down 3-2.
Yeah.
I was like, I didn't remember it like that. I thought the Diamondbacks were 3-1, and then the Yankees fought back and the Diamondbacks held on. But no, it was the other way around. Diamondbacks lost and had to win two. They had to win two in New York. Right,
Johnson and Schilling.
No.
They went back to Arizona.
They blew it in New York.
They
could have won it in New York, and that's when Jeter hit That's what the Mist of November came into play. They hit the walk off on Kemp
after midnight. Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, I think him being a New York Yankee, he benefited from that only in the sense that he had those moments that the world or the baseball world was aware of. Because the Yankees carry that kind of cachet, but you have to step up in those moments.
Yeah,
and you have to embrace those moments, and he did that, and he lived for that, and he succeeded, and it created an aura. And I mean, look, man, I mean, even his last swing of the bat, like he said, a storybook. It's like, it's a very Jeter way to go out.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm sorry, but that's all I was gonna say.
Yeah, I was gonna say the two things I took from it. Number one, he was the perfect guy for that market and that team at the time. That's got to be tough, being the guy in New York, especially during that time, and he endured it. So you got to give him props for that. And then the second thing that was brought up when they talked about race, and it was interesting because I guess I never really wondered, what he saw himself as, and to see that he straight up said, society sees I'm black.
He called him
color. He was colorless.
He colorless.
Right. What is that?
He say, man, what the hell is
that? Yeah. And that was why, reporters didn't ask questions. Now, I will say this. I'll defend the reporters just a little bit in saying that, they asked the question why Jeter wasn't asked about some of the social injustice issues. And they said, well, it was the Yankees, and you didn't ask that type of question, and we didn't think that Jeter would even answer it. And then Jeter came back and said, "Well, I was never asked. Had I been asked, I would have." But then later on, he talked about how he didn't like when reporters, would ask questions outside of baseball, what happened on the field. So it was sort of contradictory.
Right.
But with the, he's come out with the Players Tribune, and since then has, really made some strong statements when it comes to social injustice in this country. So yeah, you got to give him props for that. And he just, man, I was disappointed though that the gift basket story he said was not true.
Was a fraud.
Well, he's married now.
Disappointed in that.
He may have to say that because he's married now.
Man, that was one thing that shocked me too. Though was a part of me feel like the wife is lying her ass off, talking about she had no idea who Derek Jeter
was. Yeah, come on, everybody knew Derek Jeter was.
She from New York. She's there in 2009 when they won the World Series. She said she was at the parade. Like, come on, man.
You know who Derek Jeter is.
Come on. That's how she got him.
And her mom knew too.
Yep. Yeah. But yeah, man.
But I was thoroughly disappointed that the basket story was not true. Because I wanted to, to live my life in that way. I wish I could have, but still, yeah. But other than that, I was like, man, outstanding career. I thought the doc overall was sometimes a little long and drawn out a little bit, but overall, it was definitely worth the watch, no doubt.
Not a Jeter aficionado like B, but I didn't really know a lot about Derek in terms of. I didn't follow the Yankees. Didn't really follow. I mean, I knew who he was obviously, and he was one of those guys that always seemed to perform when the lights were bright. But I didn't have an idea like what his personality was. So he's so stoic on the baseball field and so focused, which was cool. I knew. I didn't dislike him. I liked the fact that he was all about the business. So I could respect him, I guess is what I'm saying. I respected his play, but to actually hear him talk and to be able to, elaborate more about, what his thought process, what the whys, the wins, the whys, where I came from, how I came up, why I do this, how I perceive this, how I process this. I found some of that interesting, and you hear some of the things from play, and it's interesting, especially the last one they had Mike talk a couple of times, so making a parallels to Michael Jordan, like, hey, when that moment there, you step into that moment and you're not thinking about anything other than just doing your job or trying to achieve in that moment, and the other stuff comes with it, but to hear him talk. He's not seem quite as fanatical as Michael, but you can see where there are parallels, and for him, a lot of athletes, and it was good. I like the fact that he being Jeter knows what his flaws are, as in terms of relating to others and how he communicates and stuff, and he's aware, like, yeah, that's probably a character flaw. I understand that, but that's how I am. and I have to be that way for me, because that's how I can process it, how I can compartmentalize and get through to the next thing, whatever the next thing is. And he's always looking for the next thing. They made that. I love the fact that the parents were involved and his sister were involved so thoroughly through this thing, because it humanizes him a little bit more.
I'm a big fan of his sister, by the way.
Yes,
big fan.
Yeah, big fan. Well, now I'll say what I didn't know. I maybe I knew and I forgot. I forgot that Gerald Perry passed away. I didn't know.
I didn't. Yeah,
Gerald Williams.
Gerald Williams.
I'm sorry,
Gerald Williams.
Yeah, sorry about that.
I forgot about it until they showed it. I'm like, oh damn, he did pass. No, the way I remember, it was before the last episode aired. Gerald's birthday was before the episode aired, and Jeter wished him a happy heavenly birthday. I'm like, wait, Gerald Williams did die.
Yeah,
Damn, I'm like, that's weird now watching him through this documentary.
Right, because he's actually
no longer here. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So that messed me up a little bit. I was like, wait, what? How? He's in the doc? What? Mm-hmm. Oh, and I was like, I didn't know. And for him to be Gerald, it is being someone that was one of the closest friends to Derek and person he trusts a lot, and a mentor in a lot of ways too, like a big brother.
Yeah,
in a lot of ways. So that I if there's anything I felt a little bit, because I get it to some degree. I'm definitely not saying I'm Jeter at all, but I get that once that trust is gone, it's tough. And then for Derek, to be in such a oyster, or the apple of New York's eye, if you will, but you can't let anybody in,
He couldn't show vulnerability, because then they'd try to eat him up. And so he was putting the media in their place quick and moving on to where they couldn't even harp on it.
Not just that. I mean, that part I think is easier than off the field being Derek Jeter. And that's what I'm talking about more so. Like who to trust, where to go out, when to go out. Early on they talk about that once. I'm like, man, if I had actually made the decision to go out, I might have been caught up.
He was supposed to went to the club that night
club
with
Puffy and
Jeter. The Puffy and J-Lo thing.
Yeah, right. I'd have been caught up. But
that was Shine who got caught up with that, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I will say, out of everything in this documentary or surrounding it, the thing I enjoyed the most was a commercial where he was interviewing those kids. Those were awesome. I love those. Like almost every one of them was great in their own way. I mean, it's just for these kids to have that kind of composure and personality and just honey badger mentality. Like, I don't give it. I'm just going to ask this guy this question and it's just going to go. And just have fun with it. I thought it was cool. His reactions to their questions were just like, okay. I can't believe these precocious kids are talking to me like I'm just a nobody, So there were a lot of things done. I thought it was well put together. I don't know between this and The Last Dance, which one people would say they like more.
Oh, Last Dance. Last Dance, easy.
It's not even
easy.
It's not even a question.
Easy.
But
I'm a baseball theology,
right.
But Last Dance, easy.
Okay.
Easy. And glad you mentioned that, because like I said, and granted, The Last Dance didn't necessarily prove to me things about, well, no, it did. I knew they said Mike was a crazy guy in practices and shit like that, but to actually
not to that level to see it,
to actually see it was like, oh shit. Like nothing shocked me about the Jeter doc. Nothing at all. I wasn't shocked about anything that happened. Like it was like the entire thing, he was in character. He was who he always portrayed to be. Nothing shocked us. Like Ed saying, I mean, we joked about it, but like the fact that the gift bag thing turned out to be just a myth, like that would have probably increased the mythology of the show, but like with The Last Dance, and the drama that came from it.
That's true.
That's true. Yeah,
that's true. Yeah,
the drama that came after it added to that sense of
the mystique of it.
Actually see like how MJ treated like a Scott Burrell.
That was horrible.
Man,
it's just so bad.
Or like
Scotty under the bus.
I go back to that. It's true. That's what happened. But did he really have to bring that up?
Especially after he had been gone for some time.
Yeah, he wasn't there.
Right.
The 94 season didn't have to come up. Not in depth like that. He wasn't
the way
there.
It did.
Yeah.
Not the way it did.
Now, the 98 season, when Scotty decided he wasn't going to do his rehab until the season started, I get that. and that happened.
But it was all a part of the story. I mean,
Yeah.
it was a timeline. You had what was that 90 with the Pistons, the migraine.
Yeah.
All of it goes together. Really.
No, he didn't give him.
it.
You know what? Though he didn't give him too much crap about the migraine though.
That's what I'm saying. Though.
Yeah.
It was like he didn't. Of course, he didn't give him no crap about '94 because he wasn't there. But he highlighted.
No, he did. He can't. MJ said he was wrong.
Oh, I
Yeah,
remember.
MJ said he was wrong. He was wrong for sitting out the 1.8. Now the thing is, history, with Kukoc hitting that shot,
Right.
lessens the blow for Scotty, and Scotty should be happy that that happened, because this could be a different story, But yeah, Mike talked about that in the Last Dance. But yeah, I think Last Dance. I think Last Dance is one of the top two sports documentaries I've ever seen. That
Yes.
and then the
Black Magic.
No. The OJ. The OJ doc.
Oh yeah, you're right.
I don't know if that counts as a sports documentary.
Why wouldn't it? Why wouldn't it?
Well, because it was about OJ.
It was more about the case,
right,
than him, his career per se.
But he's not OJ because of his movie acting.
True that.
He's OJ because he was the juice.
that documentary that
was awesome.
That was the best thing I've ever seen.
Man,
just how they put that story together.
Yeah.
Top 3 for me: Last Dance, Fab Five, and Bad Boys. And Bad Boys is so fulfilling to me as how it ended.
Well, yeah, because as a Bulls fan.
But the entire doc was so good though.
Yeah, well, it was.
It was so good, and then the way it ended, it just put the cherry on top. But
yeah.
I really like I can watch that whole documentary many times over and over. I really could.
Which is why we talk about the Last Dance, that 98 season. I'm actually glad that it ended there, because we didn't have to see the Bulls lose,
right?
Or that iteration of the team lose in the playoffs.
No one has that.
No one knocked them off the throne.
Magic's doc, pretty much ends with
Jordan,
the Bulls,
the Bad Boys.
Bad Boys.
I mean, you look at the Celtics of the 80s. It ends with the Bad Boys.
Mm-hmm.
You can't say that about the 90s Bulls. So
ending with Jerry Krause.
So maybe that was the right way to end that. Just a thought there. But yeah, overall, like I said, Jeter's my favorite. He said, I said before, he said hello to me once, so I'll never forget that feeling that I had, like I was a 12-year-old girl, just so giddy. but yeah.
I do got one more thing though.
Yeah,
it is. And GM kind of said it though, just the way his career went with the Yankees and him having a knack for the big moment. A lot of this shit, it was like you couldn't script it better,
right?
In a movie, man. 3,000 hit to be a home run.
Yeah.
Last game at Yankee Stadium to be a walk-off. Those things you couldn't have scripted better at Disney. Like, that's insane, man. That's insane. Well, salute to the captain.
Yes, sir. So, hey, that's going to do it for this week's edition of the Easy Smoke and the GM podcast. I want to thank you all for listening. We greatly appreciate it. We don't take your listens lightly. You can catch us on Apple Podcasts, Google, Spotify, Stitcher, or wherever you find your favorite podcast. We're everywhere. Yeah, you can also catch us at hp53productions.com. There you find a link to our podcast as well as the Super Duper podcast hosted by Rob Griggs and the Father Good podcast hosted by Marshall Givens and Kenny Stevenson. Yo, Glenn.
Yep.
Please take us out.
Hey, it's like we always say, we ain't saying we're right. We just don't think we're wrong.
We'll see you next week.